Welcome to Limitless Mindset, where your journey to greatness begins. I'm Jonathan Cahn, your guide to unlocking potential, breaking barriers, and transforming your life with unstoppable motivation. Every video is a spark to ignite your purpose, power, and passion. Subscribe now and step into the mindset that knows no limits. This is not a word for entertainment. It is not a message designed to comfort the complacent or soothe the lukewarm. This is a prophetic trumpet blown not by man, but by the urgency of heaven itself. We are entering a divine threshold. A line is being drawn in the unseen, a time of unveiling, for the Lord does not move without first revealing his secrets to his servants. And now he is speaking. God said 5 events are coming in June 2025. These are not ordinary events. These are not hidden ripples. They are turning points. And those who have ears, let them hear what the Spirit is saying. The first event is the exposure. That which was done in darkness shall be dragged into the light. There will be a global unveiling of secrets hidden in political halls, financial empires, and spiritual institutions. Masks will fall, cloaks will be lifted, those who deceived under the banner of righteousness will be named. Nations will tremble, the whispers behind closed doors will echo in public courts, and many will say, "How could this have been hidden for so long?" But the Lord has waited patiently. And now, he says, I will shine a light, and the truth will not be contained. There comes a moment in time when heaven draws back the veil, when that which has been hidden in shadow is dragged, groaning, into the light. This is that moment. The first word that was spoken was not a whisper, but a declaration, exposure. Not exposure as punishment alone, but as revelation. A divine revealing of that which men built behind closed doors, thinking no one could see. But there is nothing hidden that shall not be revealed, nothing whispered in secret that will not be shouted from the rooftops. The season of secrecy is over. God is not blind, nor is he silent. He has watched the courts of the powerful, the sanctuaries of the proud, the chambers of the deceitful, and he has waited. Now, in June 2025, the waiting ends. What was crafted in darkness shall be unraveled in the light. The curtains will be pulled back on corruption that has lingered for decades. In government, leaders who held high positions but carried low motives will be unmasked. Documents will surface. Confessions will come. Hidden alliances formed in deception will be exposed. Financial systems that have stolen in the name of prosperity will be shaken to the core. What was thought secure will be shown as hollow. Corporate towers built on manipulation will face divine scrutiny, and their secrets will spill out like oil on dry earth. This is not a political reckoning. It is a prophetic one. But the exposure will not be limited to political or economic realms. It will strike the very heart of what was once sacred. Many who stood in pulpits, cloaked in robes of honor but harboring hearts of rebellion, will be revealed. Those who spoke of holiness while trafficking in sin behind the scenes will be brought low. Ministries that once bore fruit but later fed off flattery and fame will fall. Not by the judgment of men, but by the hand of God himself. For the Lord disciplines those he loves, and he cleanses his temple before he fills it with glory. The exposure is not an end. It is a beginning. Families will be touched. Secrets long buried beneath generational silence will rise. The wounds hidden behind smiles, the abuses masked by tradition, the sins that bound generations will be broken open so that they may finally be healed. The light will be painful, but it will be purifying, a holy light that searches not just institutions, but hearts. For God is not only exposing others, he is exposing us. our motives, our compromises, our divided loyalties. That which we buried under busyness or religion will be revealed, not to shame us, but to awaken us. June 2025 is a month of reckoning, not because of the anger of God, but because of His love. He would not allow deception to reign unchallenged. He would not allow evil to wear a crown unopposed. The exposure will be divine in origin, global in impact, and personal in its reach. The news will not be able to contain it. Whistleblowers will rise up. Anonymous voices will be given platforms. Truth will come from unexpected places. What the enemy thought he buried will resurrect in testimony. There will be arrests, resignations, confessions, and exposures so intense they will shake the trust of entire nations. But in the shaking, truth will find its way home. In the realm of media, those who shaped narratives to protect the powerful will find themselves tangled in their own webs. Hidden deals, secret funding, and weaponized language will be traced back to their sources. The deception will be undone in real time. And yet some will refuse to see it. They will cover their eyes even when the light is blinding, for exposure is not just an act of revelation, it is a test of response. The truth will be laid bare, but not everyone will accept it. Some will fight to preserve the lie, to defend the idol, to protect the throne of self-interest. But God is not seeking agreement, He is commanding alignment. The trumpet has sounded, the angels are dispatched. The books of heaven are open, and the time has come for divine confrontation. The exposure is the fire that tests what has been built, whether with gold and silver or with straw and hay. And whatever cannot withstand the fire will be consumed, not in wrath alone, but in righteousness. The holy winds are blowing across the nations, and nothing false will be able to stand. This is not just another news cycle, not just another scandal. This is a holy moment, and heaven is watching how earth responds. There is a stirring beneath the surface, a trembling that begins in unseen before it is felt by the feet of men. The second event declared is the shaking. Not just a physical shaking, though the earth itself will bear witness, but a shaking of systems, of beliefs, of strongholds long thought immovable. The Lord has shown mercy in silence, but now His mercy takes the form of motion. The stillness that many have mistaken for peace will give way to a disruption so undeniable. The proud will stumble, and the humble will rise. This shaking is not meant to destroy what is righteous, but to remove what is false, to shift what is stagnant, to awaken what is sleeping. In June 2025, tremors will come not only from fault lines beneath the soil, but from fault lines in culture, in governance, and in faith. Things long assumed unshakable will be tested. Trust in systems will erode as those systems fail to uphold truth. In nations across the world, leadership will be confronted by instability. Alliances once thought secure will fracture. Financial markets will sway like trees in a storm. Social orders will waver. What is built on pride, deception, and rebellion will not withstand the pressure. The shaking will not choose its target by human logic, but by divine justice. It will visit the high and the low, the center and the fringe, the palace and the prison. Wherever falsehood hides, it will be shaken loose. Even creation itself will groan. Unusual weather patterns, storms out of season, floods where there were deserts and droughts where water once flowed. The earth will bear the sign of heaven's alarm. It is not just climate. It is a message. A prophetic echo in the wind, in the wave, in the rumble beneath our feet. Watch the coastlines, the mountain ranges, the valleys. God is speaking through the very soil we stand on. He is not silent in the shaking. He is declaring, I am God, and I will not be mocked. What man has attempted to control, manipulate, and exploit will now rebel against him, not because nature has power of its own, but because the Creator is reclaiming His voice. In churches, a shaking will begin that many did not expect. Programs will be disrupted. Platforms will fall. Popularity will no longer equal authority. There will be a reversal in the spiritual landscape. Those who built ministries on the sand of ego and entertainment will find no shelter when the winds blow. But those who kept their foundation on the Word, who walked in quiet obedience and hidden faithfulness, will find themselves unshaken. God is not moved by the size of a building, but by the depth of surrender, and this shaking will reveal the difference. Leaders who once stood at the center will be brought to the edge. Those who once cried in secret will be brought to the forefront. In households, the shaking will reach deeply. Relationships will be tested. Marriages, parenting, friendships. What has been tolerated will no longer be. The shaking will bring confrontation. Patterns that have long been destructive, but were accepted out of fear or habit, will surface. There will be tears, but there will also be cleansing. This is not a shaking of destruction. It is a shaking of alignment. Everything that remains will be that which cannot be shaken. In families who have been wandering, purpose will be found again. In homes that have been fractured, reconciliation will take root. The pain of the shaking will not be wasted. In personal lives, the shaking will be spiritual and emotional. People who thought they knew who they were will find themselves stripped of titles and assumptions. Careers may shift, resources may dwindle, reputations may falter, but in all of this, God is not removing identity. He is revealing it. The shaking will uncover the eternal beneath the temporary. It will demand that every person ask, what do I really stand on? Where is my faith anchored? What is truly unshakable in my life? For those who answer honestly, the shaking will not destroy but refine. It will press until the pure emerges. It will roar until the still voice is heard. Nations will feel it. Economies will feel it. Hearts will feel it. The trembling is a grace. It is a divine interruption before destruction. It is not for fear, but for focus. Not for panic, but for purification. Those who cling to what God is shaking will fall with it. Those who release what must go will rise with what remains. The shaking is not the end. It is the beginning of alignment, preparation, and the clearing of the path for what heaven is about to pour out. There is a line being drawn, invisible to the eye, but deeply etched in the spirit. It is not a line of political stance or cultural identity, but of heart posture and eternal allegiance. The third event is the division. It is not brought forth by human arguments, but by divine necessity. This is not a division of hate, but of holiness. In June 2025, a separation will begin to unfold, not in violence, but in vision. A great sifting, a calling apart, a clarifying of who belongs to whom. The sheep from the goats, the wheat from the tares, the remnant from the religious. This is not about attendance in a building, but alignment with the truth. Those who have walked a path of compromise will no longer be able to hide in the crowd. The gray zones will disappear. Middle ground will collapse. The illusion of neutrality will be removed. The Lord is calling His people to choose. The days of mixture, of diluted faith, of divided loyalty are coming to an end. He is calling for those who will walk fully in truth, even when truth costs them everything. There will be no more room for partial obedience. The Spirit will not strive with those who continue to cling to both altar and idol. A holy line is being drawn, and it will cut through every layer of life. Families will feel it. Churches will feel it. Nations will feel it. It will bring discomfort, but it will also bring clarity. This is not the work of man stirring conflict. It is the work of God refining his people. Relationships will shift. Those who once shared common ground will find themselves walking different roads, not because of offense, but because of obedience. The call to consecration will demand that some walk away from what was familiar. Friendships rooted in compromise will no longer hold. Partnerships built on convenience rather than conviction will dissolve. This is the pruning that precedes power. God is making room for purity, for purpose, for promise. There will be a price, but the cost of staying in mixture is far greater even within congregations. The division will be visible. Not in arguments or debates, but in atmosphere. There will be houses of worship where the presence of God lingers, where repentance is real, where the word is honored and the Spirit moves. And there will be others where the shell remains, but the glory has departed. Programs will continue, but power will be absent. Crowds may gather, but heaven will be silent. The fear of man will be evident, and the fear of the Lord will be rare. This is the moment where the remnant begins to rise, not by their own ambition, but by divine appointment. God is not dividing to harm, but to heal. The separation is necessary to make space for sanctification. It is the breaking away that leads to the birthing. Those who walk away from compromise will walk into clarity. Those who leave the crowd for the call will find a fresh anointing. The fire of devotion will burn brighter in the midst of division. What looks like loss will become the foundation for legacy. The call is not to isolation, but to identity. To know who you are by knowing whose you are. The world will not understand this division. It will label it extremism, intolerance, fanaticism, but heaven calls it obedience. It is the mark of the set-apart ones, those who fear God more than man, who value truth above comfort. This is not a new thing. It is a returning to the ancient path. The prophets walked this road. The apostles chose this cost. The Messiah himself declared that he came not to bring peace, but a sword that cuts through the superficial to reveal the sincere. The days of blended gospel are over. The days of passive Christianity are ending. The hour has come to be either hot or cold. The Spirit of God is moving with urgency, and those who respond will be transformed. Those who resist will find themselves distanced from the move. This is not exclusion. It is invitation. An invitation to deeper intimacy, to real authority, to fearless living. But it begins with separation. Not separation for pride, but for purpose. Not from people, but from patterns that hinder purity. The division will expose hearts. It will reveal what has been hidden beneath words and appearances. Motives will surface. Loyalties will be tested. Convictions will be revealed. And in the midst of this holy disruption, those who truly belong to the Lord will shine. They will not retreat in fear, but advance in faith. They will not blend in, but stand out. They will be misunderstood, but they will be unmistakably. His gate is opening, not built by human hands or placed on earthly foundations, but forged in the heavens and aligned with divine timing. It is not made of stone or wood, but of purpose, prophecy, and destiny. This gate is not visible to the natural eye, but the Spirit perceives it. It opens for a moment, and within that moment lies the weight of eternity. June 2025 is marked as the season in which this prophetic gate swings wide. Those who are awake will see it. Those who are aligned will enter it. It is a moment unlike others, a threshold between what has been and what is to come. It requires a decision. It requires surrender. It requires immediate response. The gate does not wait for convenience. It does not open according to comfort or consensus. It opens according to the voice of the Lord, and that voice is calling. Calling nations to turn, calling leaders to bow, calling the church to rise. This is the hour of holy urgency. Not panic, but preparedness, not reaction, but repentance. The sound of the gate is not like the clang of war, but the cry of invitation. An opening that allows what is divine to descend and what is consecrated to ascend. A moment where the veil thins, where the line between heaven and earth is crossed not by chance, but by choice. At this gate, there is a decision that each person must face. Not a choice between comfort and discomfort, but between obedience and disobedience. This is a gate of surrender. It is not walked through casually. It is approached with trembling. Those who walk through it carry not only their faith, but their future. On the other side of this gate lies new assignments, prophetic revelation, divine strategies, and a fresh commissioning for those willing to lay down what is familiar. The opening of this gate will not only reveal the next season, it will separate those who are playing games from those who are carrying the fire. The gate requires that we let go. We cannot carry old weights through a new threshold. We cannot bring the baggage of bitterness, the chains of compromise, the idols of comfort through a gate that demands holiness. Some will see the gate, but will not enter because they will not lay down what they've been clinging to. Others will drop everything to pass through and will emerge transformed, not just in spirit, but in identity. This is not merely a shift in circumstance, it is a shift in calling. What was dormant will awaken, what was unknown will be revealed. The crossing of this gate marks the moment when heaven authorizes a new level of glory and responsibility. This prophetic gate is not regional or national, it is global. It appears before hearts, not buildings. It confronts individuals, not systems. It can open in a quiet room or in the midst of thunder. It responds to faith, not fame. This gate is an intersection of time and eternity, where obedience writes history. Those who pass through it will become carriers of a mantle that this generation has not yet seen. They will walk in greater discernment, in sharper authority, in deeper intimacy with God. They will not be known by title, but by the weight of glory they carry. They will not be recognized by appearance, but by the evidence of heaven in their lives. Angelic activity will increase around this gate. Visions, dreams, and supernatural visitations will mark those who are approaching it with reverence. There will be signs in the earth and signs in the heavens. The Spirit will speak clearly, not in riddles, but in conviction. Prophetic voices will cry out, urging the people to enter. Intercessors will feel the urgency. Worshippers will release sounds that unlock the atmosphere. This is not an ordinary moment. It is the fulfillment of things foretold and the birthing of things not yet imagined, but there will also be resistance. As the gate opens, the enemy will stir fear, distraction, and delay. He will tempt many to believe that the gate is not real, or that the cost of entering is too high. He will use busyness, entertainment, offense, and comfort to pull people away from the threshold. He knows that those who walk through it will be dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. He will attempt to discredit the moment, to mock the message, to silence the call. But for those whose ears are tuned to heaven, the noise will not matter. They will hear the call within the chaos. They will rise in the midst of resistance. They will move forward when others retreat. This gate will not remain open forever. It is appointed for a time, and that time is now. The window is narrow, not because God is cruel, but because the mission is urgent. There are assignments on the other side of the gate that are tied to souls, nations, and generations. There are movements that must be born, battles that must be fought, victories that must be claimed, not by might or power, but by those who walk in full surrender through this gate of divine purpose. And so, as the heavens stir and the earth shifts, as gates open and lines are drawn, we are not left in fear, we are called in faith. For in every shaking, God is speaking, in every division, He is revealing, in every gate, He is inviting. And in every moment of surrender, He is awakening His chosen for such a time as this. Let us rise not with trembling hands, but with burning hearts. Let us not delay at the threshold, but step forward with holy boldness. The path ahead may not be easy, but it is eternal. The cost may be great, but the glory is greater. We are not victims of the times, we are vessels of the divine. And as June unfolds, may we not only witness the movement of God, but become the movement of God. For those who walk with Him through the fire will shine like stars in the darkness, carrying the sound of heaven into every corner of the earth.